What's up, y'all, and welcome back to Dad Needs to Talk. I'm your host, Robert, and today we got a very special show today. We're going to talk about a handful of things, including the Odd Taxi movie, the latest One Piece chapter, some of our favorite highlights from D23 and the Marvel news this weekend, and the biggest thing, the main attraction, which is why I have my boy Scuba Steve here to talk about his new comic series called Payback. What is up, Steve?
What's going on? It is me, Scuba Steve, and hey, I'm happy to be here again. Is this number 3 now?
Nah, dude. We're long past 3.
We passed 3. Dang, yeah, man. I'm like, dang, I know I was going for like the quick guest spot, and then we did BoJack Horseman, and then the very first time. So this might be 4 or 5.
Yeah,
because I forgot there was another. Yeah, oh man.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely Steve is by far the most recurring guest.
Hey man, I'm glad to hold that title.
Yeah.
If anybody try to take it, I'm gonna just come back. Just come back for another episode.
For sure, man. And so before we get going, as I always say, if this is your first time here, then welcome. But if you're a returning listener and or a watcher, then welcome back. Y'all know here at Dad Needs to Talk, it's all about fatherhood and family, manga, anime, and sometimes video games. So, like I said, got my boy Steve here, and we're gonna touch on his new comic called Payback, as well as the Kickstarter that it's a part of as well, with the lovely crew over at Concept Moon. Yes, so, but before we dive into all that stuff, Steve, how have you been? How's your day? How'd you just been doing lately, man?
Man, I've been really good. Sorry about that. My link was broken on one of the things somebody told me. It was all like, hey, this link don't work. So, but yeah, man, my day's been really good because today the Kickstarter dropped. So,
yeah,
like seeing all these people that's supporting and everything like that, that's been really, really dope. Today I actually got a job offer, which I don't know if I'm gonna take it or not, but it was for a sous chef job, but it's at Fort Benning in Georgia. So I was like, I'm not sure if I'm going to take that, but
yeah,
it's nice to know that, you know what I'm saying, it's out there, and
yeah,
I might have to, you know what I'm saying? So I might have to try to check and see if I can get that one. Maybe I can get something here close that's local.
Yeah.
I ain't got to go nowhere.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I've been really just relaxing today. Watched a little bit more of Gintama. I've been like slowly getting through it.
Yeah.
Trying to get to that movie, man. Like I want to watch that final movie because a lot of people just really think Gintama is just this like funny show, and it's like there's a lot of serious heavy moments in there. And I'm starting to getting into that those little moments, and I'm like, yo, this is deep. Yeah. I was like, I didn't know it was going to be like this because it starts off as just straight up parody.
Yeah.
And it really takes a turn.
Yeah, I need to hop back on my watching of that as well, because it's been some months since I paused on watching, because I think I at least made it into like the 30s, maybe 40s or so, whatever, episode wise. Even though I know in the grand scheme of things, of a series that's like a few hundred episodes or more.
Yeah, like 300, I think.
Yeah, but yeah, it is definitely still like pretty up there on my list of series that I kind of want to get to and to check out and stuff. So yeah, so cool. So and as far as myself this week, pretty much been chilling. Mm-hmm. I over the weekend, this was the first weekend, pretty much since school started, that any of my kids have had any sports stuff going on. So my oldest boy, his I guess I'll call it his kind of like newer team that he's been on since like earlier this year. This is the team that is primarily comprised of a lot of kids from his middle school that he actually goes to. So it's kind of cool that he's already kind of getting acclimated with these teammates and stuff now. So then when the actual basketball season kick off in later in the fall, they'll already kind of have a little bit of that chemistry and stuff. So but it was cool getting to go and watch them and stuff, whatever. Though of course as a dad, I was a little bit frustrated because like this. So majority of the games for this team, my wife is, well, not majority, all of the games for this team, whatever, my wife has been the one taking him just because of primarily just scheduling wise, because when a lot of his games and stuff was going on during the summer, my daughter also had track, and so I primarily handled the track stuff, and so I hadn't really got a chance to like watch this team play or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I found out after the fact that their whole squad wasn't there because I'm watching, I'm like what is
where's everybody?
what is going on, and just the way certain things was happening with her, I'm like, I don't know about this team. Mm-hmm. And so when we was in the car, I was asking him about it. He was like, no. He said they was missing like a handful of, I guess, like some of like their top players. So I was like, okay, and stuff. So and plus I was kind of like, I'm also like coach. I ain't say it to the coach, but I'm like, what is you doing? Cause my boy, like he barely got any playtime. Like he didn't play none of the first quarter. Mm-hmm. The second and third quarter he was in for maybe a couple minutes apiece. Like but each time he got in, he done scored, making plays, all this stuff, whatever. And he come up, so I'm like what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm like he just kind of like getting warmed up and getting into the flow of things. Like, all right, sub, and I'm like, and it's not like he was doing something bad or whatever. Like I said, I don't know. Like I said, it's my first time watching that coach and stuff, whatever. So, but
favoritism and stuff be going on.
But I'll let it slide for now.
Before you go ahead and be like, all right now.
Yeah, for real. Get it. For real. But aside from that, just pretty much just been big chilling. I actually did a binge watch of a series called Kaiji, the Ultimate Gambler. That show was so freaking good. So Kaiji is a series that I have heard of, here and there over the years, but I never watched it. Come on, Google, fail me. But I never watched it. But last year, when Squid Game came out, a lot of people was talking about Kaiji and like comparing to talking about like Kaiji, like hey, if you like Squid Game, Kaiji is way better. And so really? That piqued my interest a little bit more. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna kind of move this up on my priority list, whatever. So long story short, Kaiji basically follows this guy who gets in a huge debt, like I said, kind of like like what y'all saw in Squid Games, whatever. But this series focuses on more gambling aspects or whatever. And so they take seemingly like simple games or whatever. So like the first game they have to go into, whatever, is like a card game version of rock paper scissors. Okay. But more or less, if you like fully fail, you end up getting killed.
Oh yeah. So it's Squid Game for sure.
Yes. Which in that first game, it wasn't nothing like too crazy going on, but like I watched both seasons, which are like 24, 26 episodes a piece. So I watched.
You was in there.
Yeah, I was in there, and as the games go on or whatever, it ain't because that first game is kind of like, did anybody die? I don't know. But then eventually gets to the point where it's like, nah, he dead.
Yeah, he out of there.
He
ain't
dead.
Gonna be back.
Yeah. So but that was like a good chunk of like my weekend was watching that show, which like I said, hey, if you enjoy those type of like death game type of shows, like I said, like Squid Game and
Mm-hmm.
I guess like a Tomodachi game would kind of fall in that circle too, and stuff like that. Then Kaiji, I would put in there whatever. I would say like some stuff, some parts of it is kind of feel like it's like dragged out a bit or whatever. So I don't know if it might be maybe a better read.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing I did enjoy about the about what the anime or whatever is just like the intensity that it gives, and like the narrator, that dude's throat.
His
Cause
throat.
the way, cause the way he just be like, and just like talking about like different, the intensity of certain moments, whatever. I'm like, yo,
Yeah,
you
I'm
know,
looking at the anime and it looks like, well, the images for the anime, and it looks like I'm like, bro, if people died on here, I wouldn't believe it either. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying? Because the anime kind of gives off this kind of like cartoonish
yeah,
feel a little bit.
yeah. It definitely it definitely has a very very unique looking
Art style.
style and stuff to it too.
Thank you.
Um, but like I said, it was a really solid watch. And like I said, just as things went on, the intensity kind of just like escalated or whatever, and it kind of was it was a thing of like, sometimes you're like, is the main character, is he a genius or is he just a lucky dummy? Cause some of the uh schemes and stuff that he comes up with to like beat the games or to beat the people he's going up against or whatever, or
Mhm.
like super ingenious or whatever. But then, of course, it's like, of course, with this being a series about gambling
Mhm.
and there's multiple seasons, it's like clearly, he has some wins, but then that addiction, man, just come back around. And then it's like next season is like, all right, back broke in bigger debt. Now he got to go into even more deadlier games and stuff. Close my door, son. Close the door.
And water.
Go get some water, baby. Close my door.
It's all good.
Yeah, but
I got him too.
but
Mhm.
uh, but yeah. So it just keeps on bumping up to where it's like, oh, okay, he reached the top of the top. He conquered all. But then, he's something dumb, or he just, fall back into that addiction, and now he back in bigger debt and gotta, like I said, go through even crazier stuff. So, but like I said, that's what I spent a majority of my weekend watching, as well as uh, I got deep into a webtoon this
Okay.
weekend as well called A Man's Man, which for those that are curious, whatever, I put up a review for it. Or by the time y'all see this episode or whatever, the review I put up on Monday.
Mhm.
Uh, but long story short, it is a series that that basically follows the main character. He works for a tech company, and he basically becomes the youngest CEO in the company's history. Oops, come on. In the company's history, whatever. But he didn't get it. It wasn't a pretty road to get there, whatever. And so, long story short, after a night of intense drinking or whatever, he ends up waking up 20 years in the past, basically, or 20 years younger, to basically at the point to where he was starting his journey going into this corporate life.
Mhm.
And so you kind of get to just see him take the 20 years of knowledge that he has working this place or whatever, bring it back and kind of like help correct some of the wrongdoings that he did along the way, or some of the things that he neglected, like his wife, his sister, family, friends, etc., etc.
Mhm.
And to also kind of like position his team that he's on in a better position, because the team ends up dissolving after a couple of years. And so he kind of is like doing his best to kind of correct some of that stuff. So and the other cool thing too, especially for like people in like our age group that kind of grew up in the era when the transition was happening into like when smartphones was first becoming a thing,
Mhm.
that's the era that this takes place in, because he works at a tech company. And so they're kind of on that precipice of going from like the PDAs and other like flip phones into the rumors and stuff of smartphones becoming a thing. And so,
Okay.
so yeah, so like I said, it's not like a super action type of series or whatever. It's just more of like a slower pace, more realistic. It's more of like a like corporate politics and mind games type of stuff.
Okay.
Because like I said, he uses the mix of the knowledge from the 20 years that he worked at the company or whatever to kind of help navigate some of these uh corporate politics and issues or whatever. Because there's certain projects and things that he ends up encountering or whatever that he's like, okay, I remembered that this person was a hole, or
Mm.
or I remember that we had trouble with this one project or whatever. But of course, with him kind of changing stuff, that also starts to put him in situations that he didn't encounter before. So there are certain, basically, it kind of starts reaching a point where it's like, okay, you're no longer on the same timeline that you were on previously. Now stuff is starting to branch off, and
Right.
he's encountering newer stuff. So, but yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
it's called A Man's Man. Like I said, y'all can read it for free on the webtoon website or the app
Mhm.
and
And
stuff.
the
So,
Kaiji, the Ultimate Gambler, where'd you watch that at?
oh, thank you for saying that. I watched that on Crunchyroll.
Control. Okay.
Currently it's in sub, but it was announced a while back that I think later this year they're actually be releasing a dub, which is kind of wild because we all know like recently we've been seeing a lot of like Crunchyroll and High Dive, all these places they've been releasing dubs like crazy over the last couple of months, and even for older stuff because Kaiji, like the anime for this came out like shoot a while back. Let me see because I had the page put up. Yeah, season one came out in 2007.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So
So for a dub to just be coming out, that's kind of crazy.
yeah, yeah, and stuff. So yeah, so those are like I said, like that's more or less what I kind of been up to this weekend and stuff. So, but let's go ahead and dive into Payback
Okay.
with the homie Scuba Steve. So, for those of y'all watching the video version, which is up on my YouTube, y'all will see that I have some of the stuff up for the Kickstarter and stuff up on the screen, so y'all can kind of like get an idea of what's going on. And plus, I'll also have links for everything um, down in the description box below, so y'all can go check out the Kickstarter and support my boy Steve, as well as the whole team there at Concept Moon.
Mhm.
But Steve, I'll let you take it away and tell us what is Payback and what's the whole situation with the Kickstarter.
Okay. So Payback is a story about um, these group of guys. They're a group of guys. They're mercenaries. They do contract killings, heists, and all sorts of different things like that. So this group of guys pretty much live in a world or in a universe where people with powers and special abilities have been outlawed. And so basically, there's a group of people called rebel. There are a group of people called the Zodiacs. So the Zodiacs work for the government per se,
Mm-hmm.
but they have powers, which is kind of like contradictory. But their job is to capture people with powers.
Yeah.
So people that work for the government are called dogs, and then people that work for, I mean, that are just out there that won't turn themselves in, they're called rebels. So anybody, what I'm saying, that's not turning themselves in is called a rebel, and they're, what I'm saying. So they live in the rebel world, and they do all these contract killings and heists and things like that. And they're trying to escape the Zodiacs pretty much because the Zodiacs are these like powerful, the best power users in the verse. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So
Yeah.
once they get on your trail, it's pretty much a problem.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what the story is. There's more to it, obviously, but I
Yeah.
can't go into detail and stuff like that. But that's a brief synopsis of everything that you're going to get with that. You're going to get a lot of action.
Yeah.
Not in this first chapter, you get a little taste of it, but this story is heavy actionly, really gory.
Hmm.
It's very seinen vibes. It's going to be that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
So if you're into seinen stories, this is going to be right up your alley. But then I've been reading a lot of like slice of life and stuff, and I feel like there's so many different ways you can after reading slice of life and stuff. I figured out there's so many different ways that you can touch on somebody's heart and break their heart and stuff without just necessarily killing someone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm going to use these little vibes and these moments to like really really break people's heart and stuff and
Yeah.
add that into a story like those slice of life breaking heartbreaking moments into like a actiony story. I think that'll be something very unique. So
Yeah.
that's pretty much what I decided to go with.
Yeah. Cool. And and one thing real because I do want to also like touch on like the journey leading up to this, but just so that I don't forget. Because speaking of the word unique, because I had the pleasure of getting to read that first chapter right before we recorded, and a very unique thing that I really love about this is the artistic choice that y'all went with basically like each location or like different locations and scenes
Mhm.
having like kind of like a different like color tone and stuff to it. So
Yes, sir.
what was kind of what kind of led to the thinking of that happening?
So the decision really was like I was telling my artist Sally, I was like, all right, so let's do it. And I was like talking to her about full color and stuff like that. And then so she was all like, all right, well, let's try these things out. So she started doing playing with the color tones and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she was all like, I like this. Also, it's got some representation in there because of uh, she is a LGBTQ
Yeah.
member, and this actually was finalized. This chapter was finalized during Pride Month, so it was like that was a little symbolism as well for it as well.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm down for it, so we did that, put that together, and that's what we went with instead of doing full color. Now the next couple of chapters will probably be completely full color,
Yeah.
but for this particular chapter we thought that that would be really dope and unique. And then some of the people that have read it and already paid and everything like that, they were saying that they think that we should just go with that for the rest of the series. And I was
Yeah.
all like, oh, okay, well, you know what I'm saying? We do full color on the cover page and then go with this. I was like, that's less work for her too. So if
Yeah.
I can ease it up, you know what I'm saying, for her, that would be really dope to make it easier on her too. So
Yeah. Yeah. I'm stumbling over my words, but I really liked that choice too. Cause I remember even earlier this year when you were kind of like first talking to me about this, and you kind of like was showing like some of like the early workings of it or whatever. Even back then, I was like, that is really cool and really dope. How just like the color scheme, just kind of just like gives like a different vibe and mood to each
mhm.
scene and stuff as well. So that definitely something very very cool and very unique that I enjoyed about it. Now going back a step, so with Payback, so this is something that you're the primary writer on this. So what was kind of like the journey of leading up to Payback becoming a thing? Like how long has this kind of like been in your mind? How long have you been kind of like working on it? What has kind of like been that kind of roadmap to get to where we are now?
So I really honestly and truthfully, I was kind of just like talking with some of my friends on the deployment, and we were talking about at this time the Tournament of Power was going on with Dragon Ball Super,
Yeah.
and we were like talking about like, man, I really wish like what I'm saying we could have got more of Boo and all these other people in the Tournament of Power because we were just like Dragon Ball Z has really turned into like a Goku Vegeta thing or whatever, and we was
Yeah.
like, but they have so many characters, and then towards the end of it they kind of did Android and Frieza and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So we kind of got a little bit of that. But for the most part, that's just a Goku and Vegeta focus series or
Yeah.
whatever. And I was all like, it should be there should be shows like that focus on so many other characters, like One Piece and stuff like that. How they
Yeah.
focus on everything else and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I want to do that. And I was like joking with it or whatever. And then I started like coming up with this idea of like, oh yeah, it'll be me and my six friends.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Me and my friends. And then it just spiraled into Payback, to what Payback is today. And I just kept writing, and then next thing you know, I'm like, well, when Sally was like, what do you want these characters to look like?" I'm like, "Give me a minute," and I'd go on the timeline and I'd be like, "Okay, Mike, this person's gonna look like bald headed, light skinned guy with a beard." And I was like, this is gonna be, and I was like, and I just went down the
Yeah.
list of people from the Twitter timeline and stuff like that. So that's actually what you with some of these other characters, like the main cast or whatever, is my friends or whatever, like my best closest friends.
Yeah.
But like with the rest of the series, with some of these characters, you're gonna be like, huh, that kind of looks like somebody. And whatever you're thinking, that's who that is.
Yeah.
So I did that.
Cool. Cool. I really like that, man. Yeah, that is really dope. And yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I'm stumbling over my words again, but yeah, that's really cool. And speaking of Sally, with so how did that connection happen?
Man, so it's actually a funny story. So with Sally, I just saw on Twitter and I was all like, yo, I like your art. You know
Hmm.
what I'm saying? Do you do commission? Would you be into drawing comics?
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, I'm down and everything like that. Um, but at this time, it was like April. And she
Yeah.
was like, yeah, but I won't be available until January. And I was all like, oh, no, that's too long. And so I was all like, all right, well, that's cool. I was all like, maybe, you know what I'm saying, I can get you for chapter 2. And then everybody would be like, yo, my
Yeah.
art changed drastically or something like that.
Yeah.
So then I originally had this other guy named Mark,
Hmm.
and he was doing chapter 1, and he started working on it and everything like that. And he got to like, so it's like 17 pages on
Yeah.
Project Payback. And he was like on page 11. And then he just all of a sudden was like, I can't do this anymore. It's just too much work and all this
Oh
other
man.
stuff. So he gives me my money back. And what's funny is when he gives me the money back, it's like December 28th. So guess who's available?
Wow.
So it's like that whole time I was sitting there, trying to force something else when I could have just been patient and waited, because that's who
Yeah.
ended up starting on it anyway. So like I still got some of the artwork from the other guy or whatever. I'm gonna low key like put it out there eventually and
Yeah.
show. But like, what I'm saying, the I should have just waited and been patient, and
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Would have had Sally anyway. I should have just used that time to like promote and flesh out the story some more or whatever. But I just, and me and Sally just clicked. And it's funny enough is that we had talked on social media for almost like 2 or 3 hours or something like that. And I was all
Yeah.
like, man, I was all like, give me your number so we'd be able to communicate. I can just text you and stuff. And then she was like, I don't speak English. And I was like, what? And she was like, yeah, I'm using Google Translate right now. And I
Wow.
was like, we've been talking for like 2 or 3 hours. And like, well, we've been messaging each other for like 2 or 3 hours. And she speaks French. So
Oh.
yeah, so all the time when she's tweeting and stuff like that,
Yeah.
she's using Google Translate to translate all of
Oh.
that stuff.
Wow.
So she actually doesn't speak English. It's pretty funny.
Wow. Okay. Hey,
Yeah.
I just definitely learned something new there because I've also been following Sally for a while. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think if was I already following before y'all linked up. Maybe not. I don't know. But anyway, I've been following Sally for a while. But that is very cool though.
Yeah. So that's what it shocked me, because I was all like, yeah. I'm like, we got to talk about like when you're mapping out the stuff and stuff like that, we got to talk. And she was like, I don't speak English. I was like, oh, okay. Like I think she's learning, I'm saying,
Yeah.
as we're going right now. But she's like, her native tongue is French.
Hmm.
She's from the Caribbean. I'm not sure what part. I can't tell you. I don't want to mess that up.
Yeah.
But her native tongue is French. So
Okay.
yeah,
Cool. That's really dope. So okay, cool. Okay, so it started out, like you said, like back when you were on deployment and stuff with your friends. Then you met Sally, and now here we are with Concept Moon. So how did the connection with Concept Moon happen?
So funny enough on that, I'm a super fan of all the pods and stuff. I listen to like a lot of everybody's different pods and stuff.
Yeah,
And I originally heard them on Blaname,
yeah,
and they were like they were talking about their team and how they put it together, and they were saying that they weren't looking for new writers and stuff like that. And I was like, dang, I wish y'all were.
yeah,
And when I said that or whatever at DreamCon, I was like, yeah, I wish y'all would have been looking for writers. That'd have been dope. And he was all like, that interview was from like 2 years ago. We looking for writers. And I was all like, oh yeah. I was all like, cool, cool. So I
nice.
was all like, how do I, what I'm saying? First, it was more so of Brandon, who is the founder of Concept Moon.
Yeah,
Uh, it was more so of him just showing me the ropes of what I need to do to publish it and like getting my barcodes and all this stuff, my
yeah,
ISBN number and stuff. So he was just showing me the ropes, and then him and Keith asked at this last DreamCon, they were like, "How are you planning on putting it out?" And I was like, honestly and truthfully, I have no idea. I just was gonna try to keep winging it with you guys, and you guys show me the ropes. And they
yeah,
was like, "Well, we're actually considering doing Project Moonlight, which is a magazine and everything like that." And it was like, "We'd love to have you." And I was all like, "Well, yeah." I was all like, "I've been working with y'all for almost a year now anyway." I was all
yeah,
like, "It'll be a lot easier to publish through y'all rather than trying to figure this out on my own," which what I'm saying, I'm not tech savvy, as you guys know.
yeah,
So I was like, this is a lot of work. But if, what I'm saying, I can just be like, hey, here it goes. And, what I'm saying, what else do y'all need from me? And
yeah,
y'all just do it. They was like, yeah, man. So that's what we ended up going with. And I was like, it's so much easier than me
yeah,
trying to fiddle around on the internet. And I don't know how they even set up the Kickstarter.
yeah.
I don't know how that would even work for me trying to figure it out. So that's pretty much how it ended up going, though. It was just more so of like networking, right place, right time. You know what I'm saying? Having these conversations, and it just turned into a partnership.
That is very dope, and like those of y'all watching the video, I got the or I just showed their Concept Moons website, so y'all can kind of get a feel for that, which I'll also put that in the description box as well. But I also have up the Kickstarter page again for Project Moonlight, so y'all can kind of see what it looks like and stuff. And the pledge has actually gone up again since we talk. I think before we started, I think it was like at 490 something, and they're currently at 576.
Oh,
So
dang.
yeah,
Okay.
so
Hey,
it,
keep it
it's
on.
yeah,
Keep going.
exactly. So that is very dope. That y'all linked up. And I need a. They're on my long list of guests and stuff to get on the podcast and stuff as well at some point.
For sure.
Concept Moon and that whole crew and stuff, cause DreamCon was also my first time getting to meet Keith in person and stuff
Keep,
as well.
okay.
Uh, which he's very tall.
Yeah.
Those of y'all that know me know that I am uh, tall myself, but he's even
Mhm.
taller.
Yeah. So Keith is 6'4", and Brandon is like 6'5".
Oh
So
wow,
they both, yeah.
yeah.
So if you
So
met Keith, then you probably saw Brandon. Brandon was the guy with the he had the backpack with the strap on it or kind of around him.
okay, okay,
Yeah, that was
okay.
Brandon. He's like a ghost, low key.
Yeah.
Like it's like he's always there, but he's like he doesn't really say anything. Like Keith is like the face. So that's what he'd be like. Yeah, Keith, Keith handle all the press and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. So like we said, we got the Kickstarter going on. It just started. Well, as the time we were recording this on Monday, it just started. But it'll be going 46 days, or is going till what, the end of October?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it's October 10th was the date. Let me see. 46 days. I don't know what's the actual
Uh,
date.
well,
46 days.
down here on the thing, I think it says the project will be funded if it reaches its goal by October 29th.
Okay.
But anyway, so pretty much by roughly like the end of October. Um, but y'all have 46 days. Go support Project Moonlight on Kickstarter. Go support
Hmm.
my boy Scuba Steve and all of the Concept Moon crew over there.
Yeah,
Um,
Yase as well.
huh?
I said, yeah, Yase as well. Yase's got a project in here that's really, really. That looks. She was talking about it. And it sounds really, really dope.
Okay. Here it is. This Haraku Aruka. Haraku
Yeah,
Aruka.
it's,
Yeah.
it's, it's like a mirror image. It's supposed to be Haruka, but the way
Oh.
she did it, yeah, it's real
Okay.
clever.
I see it now. Okay.
Yeah, and she's it's a slice of life, but it's like a crazy slice of life. Right? It follows a girl that's in love and she's willing to do whatever it takes
Yeah.
to get the person to love her. And from when she was explaining, I was like, "This sounds insane."
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it sounds insane. Like I was really into it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Cause I got that up on the screen right now too. So okay. Cool. That looks really dope.
Um,
Um. Now, question with you and Payback.
okay.
So how much of it do you kind of have kind of like laid out like roadmap wise? Like do you kind of have like like big milestone points kind of figured out, or is it still kind of a lot kind of like still being figured out and stuff at the moment?
So I do have it. That's exactly how I wrote it. I had like huge milestones. That's how I started
Yeah.
with the milestones. I know where I want these things to lead to and stuff like that. I've actually written 37 chapters already.
Ooh, nice.
Um, but like, I want it to be like this perfect. So one thing that we get a lot in the anime community,
Yeah.
One Piece and Naruto are too long.
Yeah.
And then you also get stories like Erased and things like that, where there are only 12 episodes, but sometimes people want more.
Yeah.
They're like, I wish we could have got a little bit more or whatever.
Yeah.
But the story that I've never ever heard anyone ever complain about the length of is Full Metal Alchemist. I feel
Yeah.
like no one's ever said it's too long, but I've never heard anyone say it was too short.
Yeah.
They feel like that's perfect. So that's like my template of what I'm trying to go for. I'm
Yeah.
trying to have like a Full Metal Alchemist size type story.
Yeah.
So that's what I pretty much going with. I know how I'm going to end it, which is going to drive everybody nuts the way I end it. And I already know like huge milestones. I know like characters that I want to like shape and mold into
Yeah.
certain things and stuff like that. I have all those things mapped out. I've even went as far as to feed y'all into a direction, even in this first cover page. In the cover page,
Yeah.
like the cover page, Fade is the MC,
Yeah.
but he's not in the middle. The middle is pretty much the one that's taking up the most space is Bam.
Yeah.
And I did that on it's intentional. Everything that I'm doing is intentional. So fall in love with Bam. Like that's what I'm trying to do. Like fall in love with him and his personality and everything about him. And no, I'm not gonna kill him if that's what you're already thinking. No, that's not what's gonna happen. But I want him to be the big personality that you connect with. And that it's all intentional.
Yeah.
So later on down the line, you will know why in the story and stuff like that, of why we made you get attached to this character for him to, shape and mold into something different.
Yeah.
And that's just really like what I wanted to do with it. And I have like so much stuff mapped out. It's actually crazy. I feel like the twist, and I'm really big on Easter eggs, and I watch a lot of like new rock stars on YouTube.
Yeah.
How they break down Marvel series and stuff like that, and they're like, if you didn't catch this, this happened, and blah blah blah, and all this other stuff. I want this story Payback to be on YouTube where somebody's breaking it down of like, man, and then he did this and he had this twist, and if you didn't know, like all of that stuff is what I've put in the story. I have Easter eggs, and even in this first chapter, which you know what I'm saying, obviously it doesn't make sense at all because it's only
Yeah.
one chapter out. But I've already put Easter eggs in there for you to see later on chapter 6 or 7. You're like, oh, okay, that makes sense, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's just my goal, is to just like have different Easter eggs and have all these different things that tie together. So when the story comes about, it's full circle and it's like a really crazy story.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
I like that. Um. Yes, I'm still recording.
No, I say you're good. You need anything?
No, I'm good.
Hey, love right there.
Yeah, I say that wasn't surprisingly that wasn't Vash for once in the year and a half I've been doing this, whatever. So that was my lovely wife. Make sure I was good and
Hey.
stuff. So yeah, so question with your main crew here. So so control, pinpoint, portal, phase, fade, and bam.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of how did you kind of come up with one, the names for each of them, and then their respective at least like those that you showed off their powers and stuff for there in this first chapter, whatever. Like what? How did you kind of come up with the concept for their abilities and stuff like that? Like I said, along with their naming and stuff.
So with with me, my favorite power in anime is the silent type thing, like Melioron from Hunter x Hunter and Corazon from One Piece. Like it's the combination of like that's my favorite power.
Yeah.
And I was all like, I think that they could be used a lot in a heist type,
Yeah.
environment, heist and things like that. So that's how I came up with the MC, who is obviously, if I have my hair out, I kind of look like him a little
Yeah.
bit, right? So that's pretty much how I came up with that. And then with everyone else, it was more so of what are some powers that I can come up with, or powers that I've seen in anime that were really, really small,
Yeah.
but they weren't like broken or anything like that. And I'm like, how can I use those in heist situations
Yeah.
and make them like when I split the group up and do teamwork things and stuff like that? How can I mesh these powers together and make them do different heists or different killings and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So that was pretty much what I kind of came up with when I started going. I was like, okay, well, with pinpoint, I feel like Deckham or whatever in the Fishman Island, how he touches something and then he can throw it at it.
Oh.
So that's
Yeah.
pinpoint. And I was all like,
Yeah.
I feel like that could work for a heist. And it's really like a lot of like powers that are kind of like, oh, okay, I've seen that before, but you've never seen it in this way. And that's
Yeah.
pretty much what I was doing. And then with control, his is like completely, or I think it's kind of unique. I don't think I've seen it, but he's like a walk-in remote control.
Yeah.
And phase is like he can phase through things, kind of like walk through them and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's just each one had their name kind of coincides with their power.
Yeah.
And so for the main crew, their powers are kind of like, oh, okay, I've kind of seen them before, but with the Zodiacs, I like was really coming up with powers for those, and it was like I was like, man, this is tough.
Yeah.
And it's 12 of them on top of that. Obviously, it's 12 Zodiacs.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm coming up with this power, and it's got to match this kind of personality trait because I did a lot of research for you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not really huge into Zodiacs like that, but
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, Pisces, this is kind of how the personality acts, blah, blah, blah. So I need to, put
Yeah.
that into this character. Or with a Virgo, I'm like, okay, Virgos would do this, they would do that. And it was like a lot of work
Yeah.
when I was doing that. And then on top of that, putting their powers into play and everything like that. So it's very crazy how
Yeah.
I never knew how much work goes into it until I started breaking it down. I was like, man, this is a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet. And so so I'm guessing that you have some type of like what's it called? Kind of like a book of some sort that's kind of like a that basically just kind of helps you kind of like keep track of all this different stuff of like I guess maybe like a book of powers or abilities or whatever, so you kind of keep
Mhm.
track of stuff. Do you have that?
So I have a Google Drive. I wrote So first I do character descriptions
Yeah.
and I talk about their personality and then I go their power. And so that's all I really did as far as like that.
Yeah.
And I started coming up with them and I was like, I don't like this power or this one is a little too broken. Cause if you like really play like there's some powers where I was like playing around with it and I was like, that's so broken that when it's time for them to have a fight or something like that, it's like, how do I justify
Yeah. Them
them
losing.
making that work. So I've had powers that I've literally thrown away because it was just like it's a little too broken or something like that. Like one of the crazier, I mean, I guess you can steal it if you want to. I'm not gonna use it, but it was like it was called the dude's supposed to be called. He was going to be called Blinky,
Yeah.
and it's like he doesn't do anything, but the second that you blink, he can take you somewhere else. So if you
Oh.
blink, he'll be like, okay, now, like now you're on like top of a building or something like that.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? You're like, oh, yo, what? You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And you
Yeah.
blink again and you're like in the desert or something like that. So it was like, I had that power and I was like, that's cool, but he could just you blink and now you're in space. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like you could do something crazy. Like and I was like, I don't want to have that kind of confrontation
Yeah.
with my readers and stuff like that. But it was just like I just was like, oh, that would be a really crazy power because it's
Yeah.
like the whole time, you know, people were like, he didn't do anything. So you don't like throughout the story, you're like, I don't know what's his power. And then the big reveal would be like something like when you blink, he just takes you wherever he wants you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like so
Yeah.
that was one of those things where I was like, no, I think that would be too broken. I did, so
Yeah.
I was like, I ain't gonna do that. Mm.
Though, cause see, now you got me thinking with just cause I would think that this would also would have been like a cool thing with the visual style as well, with like different color locations. If like you read in one panel and it's blue, and
Oh,
then he blinks, all of a sudden, like like you said, like at first the reader wouldn't know what's going on. It's just the character blinked, all of a sudden it's like, okay, now the location, like the background is orange,
mm,
purple, red, gold, and you're like, what the heck is going on? And then it's
yeah,
like reveal.
yeah. His reveal. Hey, you might
maybe
be on to something. Man. You guys don't steal that power yet. Don't steal that power yet. That might actually work.
maybe you know what? Maybe that could be maybe like a like a little like a side story or something like if you don't want it to be too broken within the main Payback universe, maybe it's like, hey, this alternate dimension or somewhere over here on the side,
Mm,
uh, this other little thing was going on, or actually uh, a one shot. Because you know how like some authors is like, you know what, they need to take a break from their main series or whatever, kind of like what you call it, Fujimoto with Chainsaw Man. Like in the last couple of years,
mm,
between the two parts, whatever, he's done like those few little
one off.
one-offs and stuff, whatever. So who knows? Maybe hey, maybe one day, years from now, y'all can come back to this clip and be like the Blinky one shot.
That like because I was like thinking, I was like, man, that's so broken, though. I
Yeah,
was like, I could just like every time you blink and you just in the sky, now you just falling, you free falling. Like I was, I could do anything like, but I think like if I my thing is, if I ever found a power where I felt like it was kind of broken or something like that, I always found a way to nerf it, but
yeah,
I couldn't figure out how I would nerf this one. And I was like,
yeah.
ah, all right. So.
That side thing real quick, guys, because with the blanket thing, kind of made me think about uh recently, or at least like on the last batch of new episodes of Craig on the Creek that they put on HBO Max a couple months ago. I
Hmm.
was watching, and there was an episode where they had to do a staring contest with this one kid who had like super big eyes, and they never freaking blinked, and so they basically went around challenging people to staring contests, and basically this kid was just like cleaning house because no matter what, rain, sleet, snow, whatever, this kid would not freaking blink. So, but that just made me think about that. Uh-oh.
Rose up.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, so cool, man. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of these characters you've already introduced, as well as whoever else you might bring forward in the future, especially the Zodiacs and stuff. I'm excited to see um, what you got cooking up.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's a lot. It's a lot coming.
Yeah, but I do find it very dope that like what you said, that you kind of have more or less the milestones up to the end kind of in mind and stuff, and you're kind of just kind of like doing things in between, or controlling the flow and stuff in between the different milestones and
Hmm.
stuff. So cool. Well, looking forward to that. Do you or I guess kind of like what would be, where do you see or would like to see uh, Payback um, in the coming, let's say 5 years from now? What would you kind of like to see?
Hopefully, I can have the ball rolling, and be able to get like bi-monthly or monthly chapters
Yeah,
in the next 5 years. That would be like a really huge milestone for me.
yeah,
And even if like maybe it can be more than that, my main goal is to have an animated series
hmm,
for it and things like that. But I figured that would be later down the line.
yeah,
But in the next 5 years, hopefully, I can monthly or bi-monthly, like really have the ball rolling and really be close to like really into it
yeah,
and be close to wrapping it up, maybe hopefully. You know what I'm saying? Like so people can actually really look back at all of this story and be like, yo, this has been a ride. Like, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
because
yeah,
that's really what it's all about, honestly and truthfully. Yeah, I would love to make millions of dollars off of this or something like that. But my
yeah,
main thing is I want to put out a story that people love
yeah,
and really like. I really want to put out a story that people gonna read,
yeah.
and just get everybody like, yo, this was an underrated story or something like that. So that's the main goal, just getting people to read my story and being like, yo, this was actually really dope.
Yeah. Well, your boy Rob here at Danny to Talk. I'm here to push the agenda, the
Mhm.
payback agenda, and help out any way I can along the journey, to try to meet those milestones and stuff. Because I like I said, having gotten to read that first chapter. Um, one other dope thing I definitely want to shout out to is just the the speech, the mannerisms, all that stuff. Like you can tell that as the young folks say, it's got some sauce to it.
Yeah, it's you can definitely feel even with Sally illustrating it and everything like that.
Yeah,
Like some of that stuff was just her putting her own spin on it and stuff like that. But it's all like you can feel like the blackness seeping off the plate. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
I wanted it to be like, you know what I'm saying, like the conversations that they have feel real,
yeah,
to feel like friends, and you can tell that like, oh yeah, they've been knowing each other for a while because the way that they nitpick at each
yeah,
other and stuff like that. And I wanted that to like feel authentic, and
yeah,
it works because of the fact that it's really my six friends, so I know how
yeah,
they would act in a certain situation or how they would talk to each other and stuff like that. So I was all like, this is actually the easy part.
Yeah.
Whenever they're on screen together, the chemistry on the screen is easy because it's like these are my friends. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So that's the easy part. And then it's gonna be when I put in the zodiacs on there and stuff like that, where I'm actually giving them their own personalities and things like that. So that'll be the more quote unquote trouble. But
Yeah.
I've been doing this for a long time in the sense of like giving personalities to people. One thing that I used to do a lot, I used to mute the TV
Hmm.
and I would just give my own dialogue for it.
Yeah.
So of what I think these people, because it would be like stuff on Telemundo or something, I couldn't understand it anyway.
Yeah.
So I just muted and give my own dialogue, so I can give characters their own personality and stuff like that without it actually sounding like me. Because that's
Yeah.
the main goal, to be like make these characters their own person without it sounding like Steve or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
that
Cool.
that's good.
Cool. Well, like I said, I'll have links to everything down in the description box below. So, like I said, y'all make sure y'all go support Project Moonlight on Kickstarter and support the homie Steve. Uh, which at some point, when I took a break, I should have. At some point, I'm gonna go back there and look up like how many times you have it on the show, so I can get an accurate count.
Because it's like, I know you've been on my show like 5, 6 times too.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's getting lost. It's like, how many times have we been on each other? You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? And
exactly.
I know you was on Scholars with Steve. I
Yeah,
think that was twice too. So yeah, there's been a few.
exactly. So, but yeah. So I look forward to seeing the future of Payback and things of that nature. And before we transition on from Payback, do you have any final thoughts or anything you want to share? Hopes, dreams, or anything else regarding the project?
Um, Hopefully, we can get started on the next chapter already. We should be starting, I believe, in October. So we're already going to be starting to do art and everything like that. So hopefully we get the ball rolling. I do have another story that is in the works right now as we speak as well, called Wake the Dead,
Ooh.
which is going to be, I think it's going to be more of a fan favorite.
Yeah,
Like I feel like this story will be one of those ones when you get invested into it, you're like, oh, I love this one. Like it's kind of like a One Piece,
yeah.
like how that's how Payback kind of will be because it's all that stuff. But with Wake the Dead, it's two sisters. They're female necromancers,
Mm,
and their job is basically they have a business where, people die and they don't get to say goodbye to their loved ones. So you call this number, and the sisters will answer the phone, and they'll be like, "All right, we're on our way," and then you get to say goodbye to your spouse. You know what I'm saying?
oh
Because
wow.
you weren't actually there when they died or whatever. So they wake
Yeah,
them up, and you get to do it. And obviously, there's people that think the dead should stay dead,
yeah.
and that's the story pretty much. You know, so
Okay.
yeah, that one is in the works right now, and I think with two female leads and things like that, that's something that everybody is looking forward to.
Yeah,
We need more female representation and things like that. So
yeah.
uh, it's a it's a crazy story as well. I'm actually finished writing that one,
Okay.
so that one's a shorter one. So it'll be on the shorter side of whatever. I think I 25 chapters was all I put.
Okay.
So I'm actually finished with that one. It's just getting the artwork
Yeah.
done. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Cool. Well, see now I got multiple things to look forward to coming from you in the future. So yeah. So like I said, y'all got plenty of time to toss a few coins over to the crew and let's get this thing rocking and rolling. So
Mhm.
let me see. I'm up here. So I pulled up on my website. I'm trying to do a little preliminary count
How many
of,
times?
uh, of some of these episodes and stuff. Which I'm looking through, and it's funny because one of these uh man, what year was well. I'm asking what year? Like I've been doing this for like 30 years. uh, hold on. See now I'm curious because I see your name on here, but I see me and my daughter in the thumbnail. Okay. I think I might have. Maybe more than likely, I think I might have did that episode like after I did something with you, because that's probably what it was. Okay, yeah, here it is. Yeah, my little show notes. Yeah, housekeeping. Yeah, the Scholar and Scuba Steve podcast from Inside Mind and Black. Okay, all right, that's why, because the funny thing, so that episode, I had named. we was Kangs and Track Stars.
Because the cane.
Yep. This was after that
Loki drop.
Yep, the Loki drop, and then obviously the track star thing was related to my daughter. So, okay, that's a funny callback. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm counting 5. So okay, I think that was right. Cause we did do a couple of like short episodes too. Cause we did like the quick one we talked about when they animated a roof piece in anime in One Piece. Me, you, and Rob J talking about the Multiverse of Madness, 100 Manga Challenge up mini episode.
Oh.
And then
BoJack Horseman,
and of course our very awesome panel we got to do at Fan Expo. Count that as well. So me, you, and Sine. So about 5.
You know what we never did? We never did Undead Unluck 100.
That one. So that one is still in my back pocket because things have gotten so wild with that series. I'm like, man, I need to hold off because I remember I was like, yeah, I want to do this for the 100, but I can't remember like what happened around that time that kind of pushed me off, and then because that might have been when I took my break in May, maybe. That sounds about right. Or I was leading up to taking a break. Something happened schedule wise where I was taking breaks and stuff, whatever. But and then we ended up in the mess that we in now.
Yeah.
where stuff about to hit the fan. Which, speaking of which, real quick, or did you read Sunday's chapter?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
read
good. I haven't read it either. So
okay.
I just want to make sure. I was like, do I need to pause and go read real quick? But okay, cool. So we kind of on the same page, but which I guess we're going to transition into stuff that we've been reading, watching, and other stuff, whatever, real quick too. So we'll dive into some a little bit of Undead Unluck real quick. But yeah, because we're on the precipice of about to restart the loop.
Again,
which I'm very excited to see like how this is gonna go. But part of me is also like, let's hit the darn button or whatever y'all got to do to get this going, because now it's like, oh, we got 11 minutes. So I'm like, please don't have a long
37 chapters for 11 minutes.
37 chapters for 11 minutes. Let's just kind of get on to starting the loop or whatever. So but yeah, so I'm at this point, I'm like, do I just hold off until the series is just over at this point, just because, and I think we might have talked about this last time me and you was on something together, or we might have just been talking. But yeah, it's like with the way things are going, it's like when they do this loop, is it gonna be another good chunk of time going, or is it gonna be okay, we're gonna restart the loop, but then are they gonna kind of like fast forward a little bit through like the progress to kind of get back to them fixing stuff, whatever, or we're actually gonna get like, no, we're deep diving into this journey of them going back. So
I feel like we're gonna get a deep dive,
yeah,
but I just don't. I mean, the reason why I feel like we're gonna get a deep dive is because they just now they announced the anime is coming.
yeah,
So there's an anime adaptation coming, and it's like, okay, are we gonna get a deep dive, or are they gonna be close to wrapping it up, and then that way they can just push the anime all the way out?
yeah.
So, but I think that we're going to get a deep dive. I really, really think we are going to get a deep dive. I think Undead Unluck is a 500 chapter shonen jump.
Ooh.
I think it's going to be, if not 500, at least in the 300 range. I feel like it's gonna last a while.
So more or less, you kind of saying this reset might kind of be like the midway point.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I can kind of see that as well because it's like if you know if we see them not fast forwarding through stuff, which you know, I feel like right now it can tip either way. But yeah, if they do decide to kind of go deep dive, then yeah, I could easily see that being at at least 100 chapters, you
Hmm.
know, of that or whatever. Just because of who knows how much that they might have to go into or whatever. So, but I'm excited though, to see where that goes because I'm kind of like I'm looking at like how many chapters because it's as of this week 126 chapters and then
Hmm.
in comparison to because we also know that Mashal is getting an anime as well but Mashal I think Mashal's about to be done. um
I haven't actually gotten into Mashal. I've heard a lot about it, but I haven't actually got into Mashal.
yeah, Mashal is more of just like a I would say Mashal for me has just been kind of like more like a um more just like a mindless, just fun read. I just like the goofiness in it,
Hmm.
and they had like some really dope art with some of the action panels and stuff, whatever. So it's nothing like too deep or whatever going on in it, compared to like in comparison to like Undead Unluck, whatever.
Hmm.
But it just kind of like a fun um, series or whatever. So and with that, because that's at 123 chapters.
Okay.
So
Maybe
I
they're waiting for 120 now to start dropping. Because I was actually shocked that Undead Unluck took so long to get an adaptation.
yeah,
Manga,
but I don't know. It's so weird though, cause we also know like Kaiji number 8 is got an anime announcement, and that's at 69 chapters currently. But I know well with that I don't know if that one's about to end or not. It's kind of weird to tell with Kaiji right now.
because
But
I know Chainsaw Man was what 90 when they got announced.
cause part one was 97,
Hmm.
98, something like that. So and then also Spy Family, that's going and that's only at 67 chapters. Um,
Hmm.
though technically Spy Family is weird though because they also do like a lot of like a number point whatever. So like there was like a whole arc there was like like 50.1, 50.2, 50.3 that they kind of
Hmm.
like squeezed in like that so even though in general 67 chapters it's probably like close to 100 with all the like the point
Because
you
they've done
know
that a few times.
yeah yeah because
Now
they
think of
they
that, and I'm thinking about it. They did do that quite a few times.
yeah and they're currently doing it again uh with that and stuff so but anyway, but yeah, we'll see how Undead Unluck kind of shapes up and stuff with that. And since we're here, since we're already talking manga or whatever, we might as well dive in a little bit into to One Piece.
Hmm. Might
So
as well.
yeah, so this is a One Piece manga chapter 1059. So uh
Spoiler.
yes, spoilers. So and I was talking to somebody about this recently, whatever. But I'm trying to actually who video I was watching Townsy. I was watching one of his reactions to one of the chapters a few weeks ago, whatever. And he had mentioned something that of course like has been on my mind and stuff or whatever too. And I feel like a lot of people, it's like it not of course had fun in Wano, but after like 4 years or however long we were in Wano, we're in truly new territory. Because he had kind of mentioned, and I know a lot of us kind of been thinking about like for a majority of the series, especially after the time skip and stuff, since Fishman Island, the main goal, the eyes have been set on heading towards Wano and dealing with Kaido. And so, going through, Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, Zoe, Whole Cake, all that stuff was leading up to this whole situation with Kaido and all that stuff, whatever. Well, we've dealt with Kaido for the time being, I'll say. You never know in One Piece. But like all these like handful of chapters that we've gotten recently, it has just been like the Wild West of like we don't know what we getting, we don't know who gonna show up. We having all these characters mixing and matching and coming together because it's like it really kicked off when the whole cross guild stuff with freaking Crocodile, Mihawk, and Buggy.
I was like, this partnership is crazy, and so the whole thing with that was it was like, to me, Crocodile was so early into the story to think that Crocodile and Mihawk are in a partnership like. Yeah. Oh yeah, we cool, we kicking it. Like I would think Mihawk would be laughing at Crocodile like you're not on my level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But for some reason they kind of kicking it and stuff. And it's weird because of when you really truly think about it, Crocodile was there at the war and he was trying to fight Whitebeard.
Yeah.
So he obviously is stronger than what we've been led to believe.
Yeah.
Because for him to even attempt to take on Whitebeard is a thing of his own. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird to think that because it's like Luffy beat him before he even had second gear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like you kind of can't put a finger on how strong he really is.
Exactly.
Or anything like that. So it's interesting to me that he's sitting next to Mihawk and, you know what I'm saying, kind of like, I'm your partner or whatever. I think his bounty was higher than Mihawk's.
Yeah.
And then Buggy's the highest, and they were jealous of that or whatever. It was a crazy little thing.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, we decided, we'll let him be the face of it. And then
actually, Crocodile's was lower than Mihawk.
It was lower than Mihawk?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I remember that the way that they had them listed. Crocodile's was a little bit lower than Mihawk's was.
To me, I was just like, this is wild.
Yeah.
To me, to think that, like, you know what I'm saying, we're having a crossover of these characters, like you said. Buggy, whatever, you know what I'm saying, is one of the things. He's the gag character or whatever. But just the Mihawk and Crocodile together thing, it's kind of like, it really threw me off, but I was like, I'm not mad at it. I like it.
Oh, yeah. For sure. And so diving into, once again, unexpected appearances of characters or whatever. So, but before we get into like the nitty gritty, like, but in this one chapter, in the same place, we had Boa Hancock, Kobe, Blackbeard, Rayleigh.
Yeah. And it's like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
kind of like, what the heck is going on?
Because and it's like it was just like one after another. Because first of all, it was like when we started off, and it was like, oh, we're going to Amazon Lily. Okay, cool. Let's see what happened. With her and the Marines and stuff happened after they disbanded the warlord system or whatever. So it's like, okay, cool. We get to check in with Bo or whatever, and it's like, oh, okay. We knew Kobe was going to her area or whatever. So I was like, okay, Kobe and Bo are in the same place. Okay, cool. And then all of a sudden it's just like all hell broke loose because then it's like Blackbeard roll up or whatever, and we we was talking before we recorded, but like man, that one panel seeing freaking Blackbeard having Boa just like
by the neck,
yeah, it was like
and was gonna take her powers, and he was like at a point where he was like, "Screw my crewmates that you turned into stone. I want your power." Like he didn't even care, and I was just like, "Yo, this is wild." Because in a sense, it made sense to me if that happened.
yeah,
Because Blackbeard's crew, I was like, he's got a lot of people on his crew, and I was kind of figuring like, how does that match up scale wise with the Straw Hats on who's gonna fight who?
yeah,
So I was like, oh, okay, if they're frozen, he lost like 2 or 3 people, and he's like, all right, whatever. And then we never have to deal with that. But then as the chapter went on, I was like, oh, okay, so they're going to be free and stuff like that. But I was definitely watching that scene, and I was like, okay, so now that makes sense now because Zoro will fight. I'm pretty sure Zoro fights the old dude with the sword.
Shiryu, yeah,
Sure of the Rain.
yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so I was trying to match up the fights of who's gonna fight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, if they're frozen, that opens up the thing for these people. Because to me right now, I'm like, Burgess, that's a throwaway character at this point. We watched you get destroyed by Sabo in Dressrosa. So there's nobody to me on the crew. Is he gonna fight Nami or something? Like who is he gonna fight? It's like
yeah.
So I'm like, okay, so he's a throwaway, but I'm like, maybe he's there and he turns into stone too and stuff like that. So I was interested in it. I'm also really interested in the worst Jin. The only character that we haven't seen yet is Bonnie.
Yeah.
Is Juri Bonnie. And I'm wondering, is she going to be under Blackbeard or is she going to be under Shanks? Because every single one of them somehow end up being under these the actual Emperor of the Sea.
Well, and the other thing too with her that I'm curious about as well too, because last time we saw her, she was at Mary Joa when the revolutionaries was going to save Kuma. And you remember how she had some type of connection with Kuma and stuff as well, and so I'm also wondering. I'm like, well, we saw the revolutionaries last chapter or whatever, and they all back chilling and stuff whatever all together. They got Kuma with them, and we know Sabo is off somewhere or whatever. So I'm like, is Bonnie maybe with Sabo right now, or
be interesting too,
or what's going on? Because aside from like I said, like find out where Bonnie is, but also Vivi is also in Mount A, so it's like is Vivi and Bonnie both with Sabo somewhere hiding or whatever's going on? But yeah, I'm very curious to see what is up with Bonnie and stuff, and other thing too with this chapter, like we said too, was Rayleigh pulling up
and like pulling the Shanks like this is over.
Yeah,
like and everybody was like, "Oh, wait a minute!"
Yeah,
because when he pulls up, when you think about it, like Blackbeard can't steal his power. There's no devil fruit, so it's like now you just really got to fight.
Yeah,
and is this really the smoke that you want with Rayleigh?
Yeah.
Like, so
I'm curious to see more of like what's gonna happen with that situation, and also learning what's her name, Shaky, the lady that was on Saboti chilling with Rayleigh back in the day, whatever, finding out that she was the Empress of Amazon Lily 2 generations before Boa Hancock. So that was pretty dope too. Of like, I love when it's like this character that we've seen in the series for a while, and it's like, oh, they were this big person here or whatever.
Back in the day.
Yeah, because kind of like when we found out a long time ago, Crocus found out that he was the doctor of Roger's ship or whatever, but now he's just seemingly just an old guy chilling with Laboon, the giant whale.
you see Laboon with Brooke.
Yeah.
It's just like a lot of different ties. I love the fact that he ties in so many different things
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah. Exactly. And what else? Oh, the other thing. Well, and real quick too. 'Cause I pulled it up. So Crocodile had a 1.9 billion bounty, and Mihawk had a shoot. Where is it? 3.5
Oh, he hard, way
billion.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing too to point out too was we saw Marco briefly chilling with Shank's crew and stuff, whatever. Shank's try to recruit him, and Marco was like, man,
I'm done
I'm
with this.
done.
Yeah. Hey, what's wild to me is that the theory always was that everybody on Shank's crew doesn't have a devil fruit.
Yeah.
That's always been the theory because he was saying you can't. He told Luffy you can't join my crew if you can't swim.
Yeah.
So for him to recruit Marco, does that dissolve that theory, or did he know that Marco was going to say no, and it was just a joke? Or
I took it as more of a joke because I remember I feel like this almost happened sometime before, or I don't know, something. I feel like something with this kind of like joke came up before, whatever, with something. I can't remember when it might have been, but oh, big thing this chapter too. I almost forgot. We got to see the new government project, the thing that replaced the pacifistas. These basically, so we got to see two of them. These I can't think of what name. I'll look it up while I'm talking. But basically the new weapons. So far we saw a child version of Boa Hancock and a child version of Mihawk, but they are mixed with Lunarian DNA or whatever, because they also had like the black wings with the flame on the back like King. So it's like okay,
there was a lot of craziness with that.
Yeah, so it's like okay, Vegapunk, what kind of mad science experiment you got going on? Cause it's like okay, you cause I was watching somebody's review about this whatever, and they're talking about how the name for the kids or whatever, it's like a symbolic name, and kind of goes with the whole theme of like how like the celestial dragons see themselves as gods, and the name that they picked for these new replacements or whatever, basically like I said, kind of has some type of like angelic meaning or whatever, and with them being kids, it's like the whole thing of like kids are closer to God because of like their innocence and all that stuff, whatever. And so it was just wild just seeing black kid versions of Mihawk and Boa Hancock, and now it's just like people are like theorizing like, okay, who else did they do this for, or are we gonna see like because another one, a lot of people was like, we see like a kid version of like Jinbei, or who knows, Crocodile.
Kid version of Gold Roger would be
man,
the final boss. like
man.
So with those pacifistas too, it's just like, are these supposed to be like stronger versions, or are they? Because they were like, you guys didn't have a scratch on you, so she kind of was saying like, what's the point? So I'm wondering what is the point, because it's not. They didn't send those there, and Oda doesn't do things like that for no reason. So I'm wondering what the overall reason is for having those pacifistas. Another theory that was going around in the One Piece community was that Mihawk was a part of Shank's crew. So now I'm like, I don't believe that theory anymore after these last couple of chapters. But there was a theory that was going around of that too.
Yeah, that part I don't see too much, because I feel like they've always kind of just been just rivals in general. I don't know. I don't see Mihawk as being somebody's underling. Uh, ever
Yeah.
even back when they in their younger days or whatever. I feel like it was just they met at some point or whatever, and they just kind of just had like a respectable rivalry and stuff, whatever. So kind of like Roger and Whitebeard
Oh, okay, yeah.
type of situation is kind of how I saw their friendship and stuff. So, but yeah, but either way, like I said, I'm excited to just see where things is gonna go in the future, and like I said, like who else they're gonna pull out as for like kid version of this person that's gonna be a problem. I saw a comment somewhere where somebody was like, "Hey, do y'all think they might have a kid version of Ace?"
That would drive Luffy insane.
Man, yeah,
That would be bad. Yeah.
yeah,
It would break him to see Kid and maybe Zabo too.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That would be I'm interested to see the next time. And I like these last two chapters because is it the last two or the last three? Because one chapter is Sabo just killed the king,
that
and
that
it
that
ends.
that was at the end of last chapter. Last chapter, all these chapters have had like so much stuff packed into them. It feels like it was multiple chapters.
Yeah, like so the very end is you read the newspaper, something huge
Yeah,
with Sabo just killed it, and now you read this chapter, and then Kobe has been kidnapped. So it's something huge. So I'm wondering if the next one is going to be something crazy big because there's no break this week.
yeah.
So I'm wondering, are we going to get something insane like that, or what's going to happen?
I don't know, and but I am here for whatever ride and journey. Oda gonna take us on because it, it's just exciting to be a One Piece fan um during this time because like I said, especially with how long we were in Wano and stuff, and then with how much stuff happened both the fallout from what happened within Wano, and then of course the aftermath of what happened during the reverie that took place while they were all locked up within Wano, not getting communications and stuff, whatever. So yeah, so I'm excited to see what's going on with that. Trying to see. I didn't read too much other stuff this weekend. So I'm kind of like browsing through. Um, Yeah, I don't think I didn't read nothing else this week aside from uh, One Piece, and I feel like it was maybe something else. So yes, I still need to catch up on all the rest of those chapters, whatever, for the week. But yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to shout out that you read, or if not reading, anything that you watched?
Watching, I have been watching the Game of Thrones show, the Lord of the Rings
Ooh,
show, Ring of Power. I've been watching She Hulk. I've been watching. I actually need to binge Harley Quinn now because after I watched the first two episodes and I was like, I miss. So when I watched the Harley Quinn series,
yeah.
I binged the first two seasons. And
Mm,
then I was just up to date until and waiting for this new season. And I was watching it week to week, and I was like, it just don't feel right.
yeah.
I was like, I need to binge this. So I wait. I've been waiting, and I think the season finally ended.
Okay.
So now I can binge the series. So I need to binge the Harley Quinn series.
Okay.
Um,
I still need to watch that series because I hear nothing but good things about it. So
you haven't watched Harley Quinn at all? Oh,
no.
you're gonna enjoy it because like it's just a ride. It's a nice ride, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's something different,
Yeah.
and I was not expecting it at all. I wasn't. I don't know what I was expecting out of it,
Yeah.
but it's comedy. Like Clayface and King Shark, their interactions with each other is like it's crazy. It's
Yeah.
hilarious. They're real two funny characters. Um,
Yeah. So King Shark is one that I'm interested in seeing because of a podcast I listened to years back from Giant Bomb had a podcast called Beastcast,
mhm,
and they had the guy who does the voice of King Shark. He's a comedian named Ron Funches,
mhm.
and so every time he would be a guest on the podcast or whatever, I would just be dying laughing, just because for one, his natural voice has just like a certain pitch or whatever. But then like some of the jokes and stuff, whatever, I'm like, this dude is funny. And then he mentioned that he did King Shark, so I'm like, okay, so but yeah, so I need to get around to watching that.
Yeah. Like he's just real funny, bro. I can't even explain like what King Shark and Clayface are literally like my two favorite characters on the show.
Yeah.
And it's just they're the whole it's kind of like that One Piece thing. It's like who put this crew together? Because it's like King Shark, Clayface, Harley Quinn, what's his I can't even think of his dang name. The Mind something or whatever.
Yeah.
But he's like a little short guy that was Superman's villain.
Oh,
And
okay.
he's a mind dude or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you also got like this talking plant that's JB Smooth. And he kind of is like he's supposed to be like the plant. It feels like he's the plant from Little Shop of Horrors, Seymour. Like it's just a lot going on in that show. And it's like it's real good. It's like just watching all their interactions and stuff like that. So I think you'll really enjoy it.
Okay.
What else? I don't think I'm watching it. I'm still binging through my Naruto read. I have been proven to be a fraud. So I only watched the tuning exams, the pain arc, and then the war. So I didn't know anything in between that.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? But I watched those parts because those were the main things everybody talked about. So
Yeah.
I wanted to be in part of the conversation. So now I'm like binging through my read and everything like that. And I'm like, oh, there's a lot of stuff in here that I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like diving into it heavy right now. Right now I'm in the Sasuke retrieval arc and everything like that. So
okay. So pretty much like right after the time skip, where they going to?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's right now. Kakashi and Kakashi is kind of like doing this whole like you can't fight each other Sasuke and Naruto thing or whatever, and it's about to happen.
Okay.
And he's been kidnapped by Orochimaru and the crew and everything like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm in that area.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I'm trying to think. As for me, trying to think. Still, I'm pretty much still keeping up with all the shows I've been keeping up with. Made in Abyss is still insane and traumatizing.
Man, I haven't watched that yet. I haven't watched the season yet.
Yeah, you'll get to it. I'll just say like you just know for as messed up as season one was, this is it's a whole other level.
Wow.
Because it's like it's you hear like, oh yeah, it gets worse, but it's like, okay, is it kind of like a little bit worse, or is it like a steep incline? It's a steep incline.
Dang. Okay.
And stuff. So, but yeah, but still enjoying it though. Same thing with Summertime Rendering, still been really dope.
Summertime Rendering has been great.
Yes. That has been I don't know. It's just like since episode 1, it has just been every week. It's like you think you might have an idea of, okay, I think this is where this is going or whatever, and it's like, okay, they're clearly gonna go this way or that way, and it's like, actually we'll go this other way that it's like, whoa, didn't expect it. But everything, it feels like everything for the most part always seems to make sense within the story and the boundaries that we know of or whatever. So and I love when they kind of like something will happen and then it's like, oh, that was set up like back in like episode 4 or whatever and stuff. So but
that's why I love it.
Yeah. What else? Of course, Aoashi. That's still, my Saturday morning go-to show. Starting off with that awesome show. They're deep in this match they're in right now, or whatever. So I'm excited to see how that's gonna go. More likely, that's probably what's gonna take us up to the end of the season and stuff. So because it's we only got like maybe like 3 or 4 episodes left or whatever. Which that would definitely be one I will be diving into the manga.
Yeah. Okay.
When that is over, because that has just been such a good series, sports series and stuff. So trying to think that those are kind of like it as far as like the main highlights. Of course, still loving Yakuza's Got a Babysitting. That is still also a treat to watch every week. That's one I would also recommend to you as well. Assuming you haven't already checked that out or whatever, but that one will be really good. That'll probably will be a solid binge watching stuff too.
That's Cam's been talking about it on our pod a lot.
Yeah, that one it has just the right mix of wholesomeness, but also a little bit of an action sprinkled in with with the Yakuza side of things, whatever. So, but definitely some very touching family moments and stuff too, with the little girl and the guy that's babysitting her, as well as her dad, and that whole family dynamic and stuff, whatever. Just something very special that I've been enjoying and stuff. So and yeah, I'm trying to think. I think that might be it with what I'm watching, because I'm as far as like other TV stuff, I'm also watching House of Dragons and stuff too, which that.
Yeah, man, it's nuts.
Yeah,
it's been nuts.
Yeah, that is one I am just like, hey, I'm just buckled in every Sunday. Just all right, where are y'all gonna take me this week, whatever. So, but I've been enjoying it and stuff. Another big one too that we mentioned that we both had watched was the Odd Taxi movie.
Oh yeah,
because that had dropped in the last few days or something or whatever. So I had watched that like right before, or I finished watching, I should say, like right before we had got on here to record. And so first of all, if you have not watched Odd Taxi, go watch Odd Taxi
immediately.
Immediately. That was a very dope show. Man, that's still wild to think that was over a year ago.
Yeah, man. It was like I remember watching it week to week and just being like, why are y'all not watching this with me? And it felt like I was the only one on the timeline watching it. And I was like, bro, y'all gotta watch this show. And then all of a sudden people started like trickling in. I was like, finally, here they come. Yeah. And then once Otokawa won MC of the year, that's when all of a sudden everybody was watching Odd Taxi. I was like, oh, here you go. There you go. There you go. But yeah, Odd Taxi, that shit is gas. And it's funny because it was like, I wasn't intended on watching it at all. I typed in Odd. No, I don't know if I typed in Odd or something like that, because Odd Jobs for Gintama. So I was doing that, and then Odd Taxi popped up. But then I was like, oh, okay, I didn't want to watch it. I was going to click over. I was scrolling, and I ended up pressing X too soon. So when I clicked it, the intro song came on immediately. And when the intro song came on, I was like, I like this. Yeah. And I kind of let the intro play or whatever. And I was like, that was interesting. And I was about to back out. And then for some reason, I just didn't back out. And I just kept watching. And I was like, this is good. I was like, oh, this actually is really good. And then that's how I found Odd Taxi.
Yeah. So for context for those that are curious about, well, for one, with Odd Taxi in general, it's trying to think. It's more or less. I guess you kind of like classify it as kind of like a mystery,
crime mystery.
Yeah, crime mystery type of series. Because more or less, this idol, she is reported missing, and our main character Otokawa, he's a taxi driver, and he kind of ends up getting roped into stuff because one of the last known locations of her was she was seen in his taxi. And
Mm-hmm.
so just a very cool thing, and I've talked about it on here before about the show, but but you have him and his taxi as kind of this focal point with all these different characters coming and going through his taxi, and you kind of start to see the connecting threads between some of these people, being connected or end up getting connected to each other just through different events and stuff going on. um and I will say, like Steve said, like, give the show a chance, because I also know a lot of people also didn't even give it a shot because of like the cover art shows just like a bunch of like kind of like anthropomorphic, talking animals or whatever. But there is so much more to the show than what you see on that cover and stuff. So yeah. So with that being said, watch out Taxi. Now with the movie. So going into it, I kind of heard that a lot of it was kind of like a recap of the series with some new stuff. But hearing that without the idea of like how it was structured, I was just kind of like, I was gonna watch it regardless, because I'm like, hey, if I can get anything any more odd text or whatever, I'll take it. Well, watching it, which of course spoilers or whatever, which it's not really much to really spoil, I guess, if you've already seen Odd Taxi.
Yeah.
But just still, I liked how they framed it to where it was kind of like a interview style thing, to where like they're kind of interviewing the different characters from the series, and they will like flash back into different moments and scenes along the way that happened throughout the series, but you're kind of getting new context for stuff through these post-event interviews with these different characters or whatever. And so I thought that was like a very cool way for them to do that. So yeah.
For that, I got a phone call for a second, but for that, like, I love the fact that you get a recap of the story and stuff like that, and it kind of felt like The Office or like Modern Family, how they have those talking into the camera, like type of things going on and stuff like that. And I really, really liked it. I really appreciated it. Just seeing the story from other characters' point of view and stuff like that was definitely really interesting. How like she kind of like, well, I knew that I was kind of playing them, but I didn't really, that wasn't my intentions going in, and all of a sudden, and it was just like just seeing these different it was almost like watching a movie with the director's cut or whatever, kind of like, it kind of felt like that, because you're hearing them talk about it and everything that's going on with that.
So that was just like a really interesting way to frame this movie and stuff. So because like I said, like, like going in, I was like, okay, like, is it just gonna be they just gonna kind of like mash together the series, and then at the end they add a little bit more? But it was like, no, this was like a really dope way for them to kind of to tell the story, which so I was trying to think of, I was like, feels like something else I had read or something recently that did something similar. So a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, I don't know, time is weird, especially because I record stuff out of time sequence sometimes or whatever. But I had reviewed and talked about a series that I read recently called Oshi no Ko.
Okay.
And that series kind of started off as well with a series of interviews and stuff as well, with certain characters in the present time talking about like, oh yeah, I remember, the main characters, I remember their mom, or I remember seeing the main character as they were growing up in the industry, and yada yada yada. And that was a really dope way to kind of frame how that story and stuff was set up too. Which that one, Steve, that's another one I would recommend to you as well. Which I can talk to you about more about that
Oh,
later,
oh,
but that is a really dope one that I enjoyed and stuff too. But like I said, that just kind of came to mind when I was thinking about the framing of how they did the movie and stuff. So, but I will say I feel like they tease us again at the end because we got a little bit more, and I mean a little bit more
barely.
with the girl that got in the taxi at the end that did the killing and stuff, whatever. It's like, okay, we get a little bit more where she's going in to try to attack Otokawa, and then like we see the car shake, and then it's like
Nope.
what happened because the thing that threw me off too because I'm like, okay, we see Otokawa and the alpaca or sheep chick or whatever
Mm.
going on a date to the zoo, but I'm like, did that happen after whatever happened in the car, or is that before?
It's just
I
it's
don't
one of
know.
those things where it's like it's up to your discretion and everything like that.
Yeah,
So it's ambiguous, and that's something that I do enjoy. I enjoy that because the conversation keeps rolling. It keeps the
yeah,
conversation going. If you end it and you actually give a concise, satisfactory ending, it's
yeah,
like, oh, that's it.
yeah,
But if you leave it ambiguous, it's like, man, now people are talking about it for years and stuff like that. It's almost like Cowboy Bebop. We still talk about it to this day. We're
yeah,
like, did he make it or did he not? You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? It's like one of
yeah,
those things where making something ambiguous really makes that conversation long lasting and it lasts forever.
yeah. And I will ask you on that front, like, dude, now do you think that we will get anything else from Odd Taxi, or do you think like no more? It's done.
I don't know because it depends on how well received this one is.
Yeah,
Because a lot of people are already kind of on that boat of, oh, it was a lot of stuff we had already seen.
yeah,
And but then again, Odd Taxi kind of has a fan base that
yeah,
is like true to the fan base. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like the people that like Odd Taxi, you know what I'm saying? They love it, and it's just one of those things that they fell in love with the show. It's not one of those shows that got crazy popular and it got like this, you know what I'm saying,
yeah,
crazy fan base of like a Dragon Ball Z or something like that.
yeah,
And then when it's not doing what you want it to do, you know what I'm saying? People kind of like flake on it or they talk about Dragon Ball Z in a sense.
yeah,
Where I feel like Odd Taxi has like an authentic, like
yeah,
small cult type fan base,
yeah,
you know, cult classic type
yeah,
fan base or whatever. And I think we're going to be good with whatever.
yeah, yeah,
So I guess it just depends on how well received it is in their eyes.
yeah,
If they're going to give us more, I feel like so they leave you with this hang up, this ambiguous like ending or whatever.
yeah,
But then at the same time, they gave us an ending of explaining what Otokawa actually is seeing and things of that nature.
yeah,
So it's like, does it still have that same effect if you go into the next season or the next part
yeah,
with them actually being humans
yeah,
instead of their animal counterparts?
yeah,
And that's one of those things where it's like, do you decide to play with that or do you just continue to leave them animal? But now it's like, you leave them animal. Now it's kind of like one of those things of, well, why don't you go back to the human side and all sorts of different things. So
yeah,
that's why I feel like it's over because it's like that has been revealed
yeah,
and you can't recreate that magic.
yeah, yeah,
And especially now that it's over. Even like in this one, I kind of was all like, well, we know that, you know what I'm saying, he views them human like this or whatever for a certain way
yeah,
because, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, why don't you just give us the human form for this like little documentary? Because
yeah,
especially for some of the little, I mean, yeah, from the documentary scenes, it's
hmm,
like, well, he's not there. So
yeah,
why would we be seeing a gorilla right now? Or why would we, you know what I'm saying, be seeing an alpaca or a llama,
yeah,
sheep, whatever. So it's like one of those things of, do we continue to go that route or
yeah,
do we just go, end it
yeah.
or whatever? It's interesting though,
Oh
because it's
yeah,
just I would say give us a movie
yeah,
and pick up from her being in a taxi.
yeah,
That would
yeah,
be interesting just to see where they go with it.
Yeah, yeah. I I I, I agree with you there. So we'll see. What may or may not come
Mm.
uh, in the future. So now I know we've been going for a little while, but do you have would you have a little bit of time to dive into a couple of the D23 things?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
We can do
so
that.
over the weekend, Disney had their D23 celebration where they showed off a bunch of trailers and reveals and announcements for stuff across their entire brand. Um, One thing I do want to touch on first, which actually let me see if I can find it real quick so I can pull it up on the screen. Cause on Friday, I think it was Friday. Hold on, let me.
Yeah, Friday was like just video games, right?
Yeah. So I'm trying to get this pulled up. Cause in general, they didn't talk about like too much with the gaming stuff, but there was one big one and I can't get no images to load. Um, okay, there it is. They announced go away pop up box. Uh, a game that is Captain America and Black Panther.
Yeah,
um,
I did see that,
and the
which is
other,
interesting because it's like in the time period of like when Captain America first like came or whatever in like the 50s or something, right?
I think so. I'm not 100% for sure, but the thing that has my interest with it too is that the the lead person on the development of this game is a lady named Amy Henning. Those of y'all who do not know, she is the brains behind the Uncharted series.
Oh, okay.
So Uncharted, Nathan Drake, all that stuff. So she's the one that created that series, and so I know for like the longest time, she's been trying to get other projects and stuff going over the years. Cause I know like one point in time, she was working with the team to put together a new kind of like an Uncharted esque Star Wars game, but unfortunately that studio and stuff got you know uh
Can.
canned or whatever a while back. So she kind of just been in a rut of bad luck for some years. And
Mhm.
but anyway, I'm excited to see what may come of of that. So diving over to some movie stuff, whatever. Uh, what before we dive into the Marvel stuff, whatever. What did you think of? Because we finally got our first look, even though it was a very short little teaser, whatever. But we finally got to see the new live action Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid, yeah. I'm actually looking forward to this.
Yeah.
If you know anything about me, Fade or whatever, not only is kind of like supposed to look like me, but he's character design is a lot like David Diggs, who is he's Thomas Jefferson in Hamilton. He's on this show called Blind Spotting, and he was in the movie Blind Spotting, and he's actually playing Sebastian in this Little Mermaid
Mm,
movie. So I'm actually really excited to see that because like right now he's like my favorite human
yeah.
on earth. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
but and he's in Snowpiercer, which is a really really good show.
Okay.
Um, Snowpiercer is like it was a movie first with Chris Evans, and
Okay.
it's a train. Basically, the government was trying to slow down global warming. So they shot like
Okay.
some like cold frost into the atmosphere, and that it went terribly wrong. So the whole world is like frozen over.
Yeah.
So they got in this train that's like circling the world or whatever, and they just like live on the train and they're waiting for the ice to melt because if you go outside, you'll freeze to death. So they're kind of just
Uh,
living on this train that's going circles and circles and circles around
hmm.
Earth or whatever. And it's supposed to be like this huge 1,000 cart train, but it got to a point where you were only invited on if you got a pass, like a ticket or whatever. And people were like, "I'm not going to just sit here and die."
Yeah.
So they rushed the train. So they all get on the train. So the train is like full of like all these people that didn't have tickets. So
Yeah.
if you didn't have a ticket, they like push you to the back of the train, and they, basically treat you like less than, or they're the uppity people in the front.
Yeah.
And they have like a big revolution, and it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
And then the TV show is like basically a retelling of it in a sense of without the Chris Evans part, because it's actually a comic book, and so they're telling the story from the comic book perspective, whereas the movie is its own like story basically.
And
But it's
what did you say it's called again?
Snowpiercer.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
it's on HBO Max. I think Snowpiercer is a
Yeah.
TNT or a TBS show, one of them.
Okay.
But it's really good. I
Okay.
actually ended up just like reading the comics. I was like, screw this.
Yeah.
And I read the comic, and you find out like, oh, it's not just one train. There's like 7 of them, and it's like, what?
Yeah.
Like it's like a whole bunch of craziness that's going on the show and stuff like that. It's real crazy.
Okay.
But yeah, I say all that just to say I like the BD.
Ain't nothing wrong with that, man. So, diving into some of the Marvel stuff, I feel like I must start with probably my favorite thing that I saw there, or that I saw a trailer from, whatever. Secret Invasion.
Ooh, yeah, that looked good, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited to see Samuel L. Jackson uh, on screen, and then it's a TV series. Give me more of that.
Yes.
So we're
Yes.
gonna get a lot of episodes of Samuel L. Jackson, finding out where he was and what's real and what's not, who's scrolls and stuff. It looks real good, and I love it because it's just like most of the Marvel TV series, like the ones where they're kind of just like that. Their tone, you can tell the tone is a little darker. Those
Yeah.
seem to be the ones that are like taking off.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Moon Knight, Loki, you know what I'm saying? WandaVision, like those darker tones or whatever are the ones that's like really, really been on a high. And
Yeah.
I'm excited to see this one because it looked like it was a dark tone.
Yeah. And so like I didn't know. I mean, I just wasn't paying attention, but I didn't know that it was gonna be a TV series before I saw this trailer, because
Mhm.
I knew it was gonna be a thing or whatever, but then when it was like, uh, on Disney Plus, whatever and stuff, whatever, I was like, wait, this is gonna be a series, and so it just made me that much more excited, because immediately when I was watching the trailer, I was like, man. And I was saying like because they have squeezed in a lot of stuff into some of the movies, but I was like just watching the trailer. I'm like, man, this feels like a lot they're gonna be squeezing
Mhm.
into this movie. And then when I saw, oh no, this is a TV series.
Get you 6 hours of
Yeah.
that.
So I'm like, okay, cool. So I'm super looking forward to seeing that and stuff. So that was up in my big highlight. What is something else from the event that got you excited, or
So
that you were
one thing
excited to
that
see?
got me excited and I found out it was fake was the Fantastic Four announcement of
Mm,
the cast. It was so they had like John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic. It had John Boyega
oh,
as
that, yeah.
Johnny Storm. It was Seth Rogen as the Thing, and I kind of was like, I can see it.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, I see it. And then what was it? Olivia. I can't remember who it was for
Yeah.
Sue Storm, and then it was fucking Henry Cavill as Doom, and I was like, "This is my like." It was like I was like, "Whoa!" And like it took over Twitter for like almost like 2 hours, and then all of a sudden we were like, "Oh, it's fake." And it was like, "Dang, man."
Yeah. Well, so funny thing about that you mentioned that is like those rumors actually started um shoot last previous weekend, cause when me and Bam was recording, our episode that came out last week, or we recorded it last Saturday, which I guess now would be 2 Saturdays ago, whatever. And we was talking about the rumors because they also had on there like Giancarlo Esposito was gonna be brought into the MCU, Denzel Washington, along with John Boyega and all those other people, whatever. And then of course none of it happened.
Yeah. So the thing is, and I believe this, Henry Cavill last year stepped and had a conversation with Marvel execs for an undisclosed role.
Yeah.
So this is the reason why I think it got everybody.
Yeah.
Because that was a real thing. It was an undisclosed role. Everybody knows Henry Cavill is a huge nerd in general. You know what I'm saying? So when we saw Doctor Doom and Henry Cavill, we were like, what? Like we all like was like, no way. So we all were like super excited just to see that. And it was just like, man. And now I'm thinking like I could really see Seth Rogen as the thing. It could actually work. You know what I'm saying? If him voicing it. Even though the thing kind of like he's not more so funny, he's more so agitated.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like, I don't know how that role would work.
Yeah.
But Marvel, the way that they throw comedy and stuff in there as well and stuff like that, I could see Seth Rogen. So it just made sense to me. And I was like, this is going to be interesting. And I was very disappointed when I found out it was fake.
Yeah.
What other news happened?
They brought out the full cast or the main cast, I should say, for the Thunderbolts.
Yes,
as well. So all of them were on there, and they revealed in that in like the poster art or whatever that, and of course this is me as somebody who I don't read any of the comic stuff, whatever. So I'm not, of course this probably isn't news to y'all comic readers or whatever, but like they showed. Or they have Bucky up there with all the Thunderbolts and stuff, whatever. So, but that was dope to see. Scrolling through, what else? They announced that what's his name? The old man from Falcon Winter Soldier. Was it Bradley? I think the old black guy, whatever. They announced he's going to be returned, or he's going to be in Captain America New World Order. And they also announced the villain for that, which I'm not going to mention. But you
gonna do it?
What's his name? The villain was the leader, which, like I said, I have no context, no clue of who that character, what that character is. I assume you know.
I know a little bit, but I don't know too much about the leader. I was gonna say the thing that I was excited about was the Ant-Man and the Wasp. I mean Ant-Man Quantumania, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And they were saying that they played the trailer at the con, which allegedly leaked a long time ago. So we allegedly watched it on our podcast. But we haven't, whatever.
Yeah.
The trailer. So, but they said that trailer played or whatever, and I think we're supposed to get it like nationally in like a week or something like that. So we'll get to see the trailer or whatever when it finally releases. But they were saying like Kang is going to be like something that Ant-Man has never seen before. And I was like, of course. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course. But like to me, and this has been a lot of our hot takes on our podcast.
Yeah.
Ant-Man is going to have the best trilogy in the MCU.
Yeah.
So far. Like, I know a lot of Spider-Man fans are out there and they are like, oh yeah, Spider-Man is the best trilogy. And then there's a lot of Captain America, because Winter Soldier. But I'm like, Winter Soldier carried that trilogy.
Yeah.
But man, those two movies are amazing. And it's like, there's no way that they're going to blow this with Kang the Conqueror with his first like movie appearance. Yeah. So I'm like, bro, they're going to have the best. And it's crazy to think of all the characters that we've had and standalone characters and stuff. Ant-Man is gonna have the best trilogy out of the MCU.
Yeah.
Like, and to me, I think it's gonna be like not close.
Yeah.
Especially if this movie is as good as I think it's gonna be, I don't think
Hmm.
it's gonna be close. This is the best trilogy in MCU.
Yeah. 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 I'm super excited to see that. I'm excited to see that trailer and stuff too. But yeah, that movie is definitely high on my watch list and stuff. So
It's wrapping up, and it might be because of the way that the timing of these movies.
yeah,
Because the first Ant-Man was just good, but then the second one was like, okay, this is leading into Endgame,
yeah,
and then this one is wrapping up Phase 4. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
like it could be because of that, but either way, it's like these are some real good movies, bro. Like I
yeah.
never would have guessed in a million years that I'd be like, "Yo, Ant Man got the best trilogy out of out of this whole universe or whatever."
Let me see. I had to look at the day. So so this one is coming February of next year. So okay, cause I know like that and the Marvels had flipped. I can't remember which direction
Mm.
they flipped. Okay, but because this was originally summer next year, but it's coming to February. So
Yeah.
cool. I'm super excited for that. I'm also excited. So one of the main characters from the movie Everything Everywhere All at Once. Forgive me, I might butcher his name. I think it's a K Ki Huan Kwan. He was basically the dad. In Everything Everywhere All at Once. He's going to be one of the. I think they say he's going to be one of the new TSA agents in the Loki season 2.
Okay.
So he's really dope. So I'm looking forward to seeing him. Uh, so they announced this new series that I have, like I said, I have no clue or context for whatever, but it's
The
a
werewolf at night.
werewolf by night, which is coming out in October next month. But I don't know. What did
I
you
have
have any
no
context
idea.
for it? No.
No idea. I didn't. I was like, okay, that's gonna be interesting,
Yeah.
and it's coming out next month. It's like, dang, no, like press for it or nothing. It's just gonna drop, and we
Yeah.
just gonna watch it. And I mean, I'm gonna watch it. It's Marvel.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it a chance and see where it goes. Because I mean, Sandman was pretty good. So it's one of them things where it's like, I guess, just trust that it's gonna be all right. I
Yeah.
have no idea.
Yeah, so that'll be coming out October 7th on Disney Plus. Just looking around, just seeing any other main ones. Cause I feel like most of those were kind of like the main big ones. Um, from that event, at least that I can think of and stuff. So and well, real quick, so while I'm thinking about it too, cause you mentioned She-Hulk earlier, whatever. That show has just been just like such a fun watch.
Hmm.
Every week, I really enjoyed the most last week's episode. I guess that would have been episode 4.
Hmm.
Yeah, episode 4.
Yeah.
And just all the Juan shenanigans and
Mm, bro.
and
And now they're shipping him and all sorts of stuff. I'm enjoying Juan getting a
mm,
lot of shine
yeah,
in the MCU as of recently
yeah,
because he's been in a lot. He's been in Shang-Chi, he was in Spider-Man, he's in and he was in Doctor Strange, and then
yeah,
now he's in this. It's like they're giving him a lot of love.
yeah, yeah. And I'm glad to see it. So, but yeah, She-Hulk has been a really dope show to watch and stuff. So, actually, speaking of which, actually that kind of jogged my memory. I feel like I know they announced something Daredevil related.
Oh yeah, Daredevil. They announced the new series, and they said that it's not going to be a continuation of the Netflix series. It's going to be its own series.
Yeah,
What did they name it? It's called Daredevil. Now I'm gonna have to look it up.
Yeah.
Next,
Daredevil, Born Again.
Born Again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Born Again.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah. So I'm of course excited to see um that when it comes. I'm excited, of course, to see whenever he makes his appearance in She Hulk and stuff in the coming weeks. Um, Let me see. So I'm like just like scrolling through, saying was there any other? Yeah, because I feel like there wasn't like nothing too much else that like really stood out from the whole weekend in general. I know that they showed off a bunch of like new Star Wars series trailers and stuff. I know Mandalorian season 3 got a
Oh
trailer.
yeah.
I
Um,
haven't watched the trailer yet for that. Um,
what's her name? Oh, Rosario Dawson's character.
oh yeah, Ahsoka. Yeah,
Ahsoka. Yeah, getting the Ahsoka series.
yeah,
Um, what else? There's a lot of stuff that came for Star Wars.
yeah, yeah. I think I know some series called um, Andor. And I know that got a trailer too. Apparently, and I'm just seeing this. Apparently, the Pixar movie Inside Out is getting a sequel.
Yes, Inside Out sequel, which will
So
be interesting. I saw a lot of different animated movies that made me go, "Oh, okay." Um,
yeah,
and then, you know, I'm a big kid. I'm more excited for the movies than my kids are.
yeah. Same here. So I'm up here looking. Okay, because I remember seeing this, but I didn't look into it or whatever. So there's a new Lion King movie called Mufasa the Lion
Mufasa,
King. It
yeah,
is a prequel.
about Scar and Mufasa's childhood.
Yeah,
And I honestly am interested in that story. The issue is, I would much rather it just be animated.
yeah,
Because that live action just didn't work.
yeah,
Um, it didn't have the same like love, and like it just felt like there was something that was missing.
yeah,
Eyebrows go a long way. If you just give them some eyebrows to show some emotion, it would have helped a lot. I really just would much rather this story be animated,
yeah,
just because I really, really enjoy. I'm interested in this story.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
but yeah,
same here. I'm excited to see that because, like I said, I didn't know that that part was in it. So, and it's gonna have the director of Moonlight. Oh, oh, see, my brain saw Moon. I was oh, Moon Knight director. I was like, yo, Moon Knight director on Lion King, but no, Moonlight. So,
Moonlight. It got
false alarm there.
Zootopia Plus, so I'm
Oh,
actually interested in that. Um,
huh.
it's gonna
See,
be like it's gonna be shorts. It's gonna be kind of like how they did the I Am Groot series, or the
yeah,
Up series. What's it called? Doug Days or something like that.
yeah,
Which I really enjoyed that. Doug having his own TV series, that was really enjoyable. And actually, the series that I don't think got enough love was Monsters at Work.
oh
I
yeah,
really enjoyed that one. The problem with Monsters at Work is we want to know what happened to Boo.
yeah,
And I think that's the biggest problem with it, because it's like they finally gave us something right after it, after the first movie, and not because the second one is a prequel. So now it's like, okay, but then this one they're like, oh, okay, we're getting something right after
yeah,
the sequence of events, and it was just them at work, and it was like, no, 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 what happened with Boo? Because like literally, Sully opens the door and Boo goes, Kitty. You know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
like, what happened there? And they never touch on it. And it's like, it's crazy. I All right, Disney, you steal my idea. I'm stealing. This is the fan made story that I've made. Boo is a 24-year-old like reporter or whatever, and she's like, monsters are real, and nobody takes her serious. and I think that would be
Yeah.
a great Pixar, like, you know what I'm saying, type
Yeah.
movie of a 24-year-old, like, they're real, I tell you, monsters are real, and blah blah blah, and everybody thinks she's crazy, and she's trying to find a way to get into the monster world. Disney, if you take that, I'm going to sue you. I don't know how you heard it. That is my story. Don't do that. But yeah, that's what I think. I think that they should do something like that. And I think that would be really dope. And then we can kind of get that satisfaction of seeing Boo, kind of knowing, you know what I'm saying, wondering
Yeah.
what happened. Like if they do a flashback of her, you know what I'm saying, with Sully coming back and saying his final goodbyes of like, I can't come back here or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. And I'm trying to think. And actually, because you mentioning the Monsters Inc. stuff, actually, so there was one other game that looked kind of cool. It was kind of like a Mario Kart esque game, but it was like the Disney characters. So they had like in the trailer they had like Mickey Mouse and Sully from Monsters Inc. and a couple other characters in there too, whatever. So, but and it looked pretty polished or whatever. So I'm like, hey, like I would be down for a Mario Kart type of game, but with Disney characters and stuff, whatever. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, but I think that's pretty much it as far as like I said, like with at least the main stuff that kind of caught my attention, um, from that event this weekend. Oh, last thing, and then we'll get out of here. They also announced a bunch of Assassin's Creed stuff this weekend,
Hmm.
which I've kind of
I fell off super hard.
yeah, cause I pretty much I loved the Ezio trilogy back in the day, so two
Hmm.
Brotherhood and I still enjoyed Revelation, um, but I fell off for a while. I played a little bit of Black Flag, but pretty much from that point forward, I didn't really finish any of the games until uh, Origins, Assassin's Creed Origins, when they kind
Hmm.
of like changed up the gameplay style and all that stuff, whatever. So, but I really enjoyed that game and the setting and the main character and his wife, Bayek, and I think it was Aya. I think that was his wife's name. But anyway, I enjoyed that game, that setting and stuff in Egypt or whatever. Um, Odyssey, I didn't really uh, get into and play and stuff, whatever. But Valhalla, I enjoyed what I played of it, but it was that game just got so freaking huge to where I was like, I just ran out of steam.
Yeah, I haven't played it in a while, and I'm like, I wonder how the story is even going right now, because like even though SEO and stuff was that, but there was
Yeah,
still like the guy
the
that's the
present
avatar
day
of it.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, the present day stuff. That's what I want to know, what how the story is going for that, because I want to know what's going on. Why are they trying to attack and break into his little, place or where he's
yeah,
doing his practices and stuff like that? Like, I actually am interested in that storyline, but it's just too much now.
yeah. So there's more coming.
Yeah.
So pretty much, they confirmed. Oh, let me just go to the freaking Assassin's Creed page. So they confirmed. So the next official one is going to be called Assassin's Creed Mirage, and that one's going to be taking place in Baghdad. I think in like the year like 700 or 800. So it's like they going like back
Way back in time.
in time, whatever. So, but they also said that this one's also going to kind of dive more into the older style Assassin's Creed games, with it being more focused on the stealth and stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so, and I know a lot of people will be excited for that or whatever. So, but yeah, so I'll be interested to see like how that how that story and stuff shapes up. Um, and they also kind of teased some code names for a couple of things, because so they're finally going to be doing the Assassin's Creed Japan game. They didn't give a name for it yet, but they announced that hey, we're finally doing it or whatever. So there will be an Assassin's Creed game based in Japan, And there's another one too. So yeah, so plenty of Assassin's Creed to come for the years to come.
Mhm.
And stuff. So, but just wanted to kind of mention that before I forgot. So, but yeah, but I think that might do it for us today. Like I said, as far as like the main things I wanted to touch on and stuff, I'm just kind of doing one last little browse and look. But yeah, and worst case, if I forget, a little behind the scenes for y'all listeners, I'll be recording next week's episode in like 2 days from when I'm recording this episode. So y'all will get some more extended thoughts on stuff, whatever, in that episode and stuff. So be on the lookout for that next week as well. So, but with that, we're about to get out of here. Like I said, circling back to the beginning, make sure y'all support Project Moonlight and the homie Steve with his series Payback. Like I said, the links for everything will be down in the description box below. So go there, support them, and let's make this become a reality. And yeah, and so let me kick off my outro music. And Steve, tell the people where they can find you and anything else you want to promote before we get out of here.
Okay. Once again, thank you for having me. As always, it's a pleasure. You can find me at ScubaSteve1428 on all social media. Obviously, promote the Kickstarter. Started September 12th. By the time you're hearing this, it's already going. Just go ahead, support us and do what you can. We're all just trying to get these stories out, and with your support, it would help us get more chapters and more issues out for you guys to reach you guys. Also, shout out to the crew at Inside the Mind of a Blurred. We record that and it releases every Wednesday. So yeah, we'll probably be dropping, I think, the episode where on this Wednesday where we had a guest named Rob. So funny enough. So yeah, Rob will be on that episode alongside of Aaron from Black Anime. And we kind of like talk about things that we couldn't get into in the nerddom and nerd community and things like that. Then we talk about other things that were exciting to us and things like that, what got us into the nerd community, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, we pretty much talk about everything on there. We're everything podcast, everything nerdy. So we talk about anime, comics, movies, TV series, video games, you name it. It's nerdy, we're talking about it. So yeah, but other than that, that's it.
Yeah, and as for myself, y'all know y'all can find me everywhere at Dad Needs to Talk on all platforms. Of course, if you are watching the video version of this, make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel so you will, get to see, this lovely face every week and stuff. So, I always appreciate all the love and support y'all give me every week or every episode, every time I post something. So that is, much appreciated to all of y'all. And yeah, like I said, check out my reviews and stuff that I've done lately, and be on the lookout for more stuff in the coming weeks and stuff, because y'all know I always got plenty of other dope people in the community and stuff that I have lined up to come for quite some while. It's just trying to schedule everybody and stuff, whatever. So, but with that being said, y'all know, as I always say, treat yourself to something nice, read some manga, watch some anime, play some video games, and live your best life. And with that, we are out. Y'all have an awesome day and week, and we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
Peace.